On today's show, the Ottawa Senators have unveiled their alternate jersey for next season. Kind of.
And we continue our 2025 NHL Draft profiles with one of our favorite prospects in the draft.
This is Reid, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
Your Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome. You are locked on to the Ottawa Senators, the only daily podcast covering the Sens. On the outskirts of enemy territory, I'm Ross Levitan, alongside Brandon Piller up in the Blue Mountains. Today is Wednesday, June 11th, and Pilsy, last night the Ottawa Senators had a season seat member event at the CTC, and one of the things they did was leak, confirm, a jersey concept that we had first seen earlier this season as the official third jersey for the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting stuff anytime there's a new jersey coming, but the way this all panned out is a little silly because they did a cool video on the Jumbotron showing flashes of the jersey, the little details, and it's really awesome. But you don't really get a good view of the actual jersey. The best way to see the jersey is through the leak that happened months ago, where you get a full, clear picture of a person wearing the jersey on the ice, or through the mock-ups that people have done online. I think that would be one thing if I'm the Ottawa Senators. Do the cool, flashy video, and then once everybody's seen it, because everyone at the event is taking videos and pictures with their phone. Once everybody's done that and posted that, then unveil the perfect showing of it on your website properly with full pictures and high-res photos and videos and everything like that. Because now, Ross, and you could pull it up here on YouTube, we're stuck looking at the official unveiling, and it doesn't put it in the best light.
Yeah, like get Brady Tkachuk, Thomas Chabot, Claude Giroux wearing it with a contract extension would have been beautiful. Of course, that would have taken two sides to tango. We're still waiting for news on that. Dave Pullen did say, look, the bottom line is we love Claude Giroux. We want him to be a Senator. Yeah. We wish we had more of an update. But yes, with the jerseys, this is as good as it got. And shout out to Ali, Sens Central Citizen. Absolute beauty. He posted this on social media. It's a screen grab from the video. It's a red jersey with red sleeves, a gold band with black in the middle, and then black shoulders. Now, one thing I noticed right away is that the black numbers, now this time it is outlined in gold, but black numbers on a red jersey. Dean Brown might be doing a little palm in his face because remember in the COVID year, they had those red jerseys that looked awesome, but you could barely tell the numbers on TV. So hopefully this one will present better on TV. My initial reaction is the Sens need a red jersey.
Yes.
It has to be in the repertoire, and now they finally do have that. I love the black at home personally, but the red, it just represents the Senators that everyone grew up watching, and I'm glad this is back. It's different than what a lot of fans had thought. We thought we were going to go with another throwback, whether it was a play on the old black jersey with the laurels at the bottom, whether it was a Senegoth reboot, that sort of thing. But what is your initial reaction from the pixelated version that we can get?
Yeah, I mean, we all kind of knew this is what it was going to be from the leak, so this is what I expected when we...
Pulling up the leaks here on Twitter as well. So that one's, or on YouTube as well. This is courtesy of Twitter. That one's a far away one. And no, this is not a real player. It's a, let's call him a model for lack of a better term. And then that's probably the best one that you'll get there from far away. By the way, the gloves look sick with the gold writing of the company name with the black and the red like they always have. I think these are going to be sharp to wear a few times. I think that they're going to be good for that. If this was the full-time jersey, I'd be like, no, not for me. A lot of people are noting the black shoulders maybe not being for them, but for a few times a year, I think it plays.
Yeah, rumor is they're going to wear them 8 to 10 times next season, and this will be their alternate jersey for the next 3 seasons. I like it, Ross. I think it had to be red, like you mentioned. They had to bring gold back in some sort of aspect. Didn't do the laurels like we wanted, but we still got the gold, so we'll take that. And yeah, I mean, the logo is awesome. We love the 2D logo, but I think it would have been fun to go back to the Senegoth. But our guy Sens made a good point. We are now this old in our fan base where they had the 2D and we liked it. Then they went to the Senegoth and we're like, the Senegoth is a terrible, terrible design at the time. And then they go to 3D. We don't love it. Then they go back to the 2D. We're stoked. And then they put the 2D on the third logo and on the third jersey. And we're like, hey, why didn't you put that crappy logo that we didn't like before back on this? So the cycles that a fan base goes through over decades of having a team is hilarious. But yeah, like this is the thing, Ross. The official picture from the Ottawa Senators that we have to use is the worst one available. The leaks and the mock-ups look beautiful. So they really, I hope they have it ready to unveil officially, because you don't want to be a team being like, look at this blurry screen grab we got from a Jumbotron video. This is our new jersey.
Buy them now.
You want to be able to display it better like this. But I do like it, and I know I'll be getting one of these for sure.
Yes. Orion Taylor, a graphic designer in Ottawa, mocked this up in March when the initial leaks came out. And look, Pilsy, if we zoom in here, they did get your chevrons in very subtly in the arms of the sleeve. It's not as pronounced, of course, as that nice old black one, but it is a nice little touch in there as well. So the Senators have unveiled their third jersey, and now it's about finding out who's going to play in them.
Ross, first question. What player are you getting of this jersey? That's something I haven't quite nailed down what direction I'm going to go here.
I think that I'm overdue for a Tim Stützle jersey. After how awesome he was with us last year with the buzz cuts and everything, I'm gonna use this one on the Tim Stützle.
Yep, I've already got my Timmy, so I'll refrain from that. I was thinking Sanderson or Pinto when the extension comes.
Yes, that's another good call too. I just think that for me, it's time to get another one. I got the Brady Tkachuk one. The white one, I was going to get Claude Giroux, and I think one day I still will, but it looks pretty solid, I think, up there in the back. And I think if there were numbers on it, it might be a little hard to fold the way I have to get it. So
you're just giving yourself an excuse to get more jerseys. We know what you're doing here.
Well, the last jersey I bought was an Angus Crookshank Belleville Sens jersey.
Yeah, so you're due.
And guess what? It was a red one. So we got to keep that rolling. So let us know in the comments your thoughts on the Ottawa Senators new jersey. And I think we're going to make this a daily bit on the show now. What's your worry-o-meter with Claude Giroux? We're less than 3 weeks now.
Just one more thing on the jerseys. For alternate jerseys like this, do you want them wearing these in classic rivalry matchups, like playing up against Leafs, Habs, those kind of things? Or is this more, or do you more have the mindset, no, up against our rival teams, classic clean black jerseys, and maybe wear these ones up against the Blue Jackets or the Utah Mammoths?
Yeah, no. This is a good jersey at home against the Ducks on a Wednesday night. No, I think you gotta keep the black ones for the classic matchups, but I do appreciate the Ottawa Senators getting red back in their repertoire. What's your answer to that question?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think maybe one Saturday night just to give them the true spotlight, like maybe one Saturday night Battle of Ontario. But for the most part, I think it's a fun way to spice up some of the lesser rivalry matchup games up against maybe rebuilding Western teams. But to get back to the Claude Giroux question, I can't see a world where they don't get this done, Ross. And I don't see Claude Giroux wanting to hit free agency and move on. So at this point, unfortunately, I think it's just about the Senators compromising and meeting his demands. I think you can play chicken a little while longer, but Claude Giroux is a guy, he doesn't have to budge if he doesn't want to. And it seems like he doesn't want to. Otherwise, we'd have a deal done. And he's earned that right to feel like, hey, I should have some respect on my contract. I'm not just going to take a hometown discount just to do it, especially like if this was a team maybe a piece or two away from being a Stanley Cup contender, that's different. But They went to round 1 and lost. So it's not like they're that close. And he's nearing the end of his career and probably thinking, all right, do I put all my chips in Ottawa and hope that we figure it out? Or if other teams are making interesting offers and I think they're contenders, I have a chance to end my career with at least an opportunity to get a Stanley Cup.
Oh, let's find out soon here as the team is preparing for the NHL Draft June 27th and 28th in Los Angeles. And we will have all the coverage you need leading up to it with our draft profiles that wrap up every show. And we have officially finished recording our 2025 NHL mock draft. This will be almost 7 hours at its completion. It will be only available on YouTube. It is coming out this Sunday. So happy Father's Day, fellas. You got a premiere all day long, and then it will live there with plenty of timestamps. So you'll be able to click through on the picks you want to see and the insight from our 9 different experts that will be joining us to break it all down. On the other side, we're going to break down one of our favorite prospects that could be available for the Ottawa Senators and a defenseman that plays with a number of Ottawa Senators prospects. That's next. You're listening to Locked On Senators, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Wonderful Pistachios. Are you looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Well, crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Pistachio Pillsy reporting here with Ross working on his lightly salted pistachios. And I love the salt and pepper flavor. Find it in the purple bag. But if you're looking for a high protein nuts, pistachios got you covered. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. It's the perfect grab and go snack if you get the no shells variety, if you don't want to work through cracking the shells. If you're snacking at your desk during the podcast or on a road trip to Ottawa, or you just need a quick protein boost, they're always my go-to snack. So get snacking, get cracking with a snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more.
All right, Pilsy, we are working our way down the countdown. We are coming into the first round area where the Ottawa Senators will pick. Actually, we've made it. We are doing numbers 22 and 21 on our countdown. The Senators hold the 21st overall pick in the National Hockey League draft. Coming in at number 22 on our Locked On Senators NHL Draft Rankings, we're going to the Calgary Hitmen, where we find Ben Kindel.
Whew, Ross, I've been excited about this one. We've had people commenting, when's the Ben Kindel profile? Where's Ben Kindel? He played with Yak. We saw him on all the highlights. Well, here it is. Ben Kindel of the Calgary Hitmen, a right shot that plays center, but also can play the wing. So some versatility there. You love to see that. In 65 games with the Hitmen, he had 35 goals, 64 points, 64 assists, 1 point shy of hitting triple digits, 99 points on the year, a plus 39. And he kept things rolling in the playoffs with 15 points in 11 games. And he didn't stop there. He had a great tournament at the U18s with Team Canada, 7 points in 5 games.
And what we love about Ben Kindel is the vision and the offensive ability. He's not the fastest guy, not even close in this draft class to being at the top end of that. But there's a difference between speed and playing with pace. And Ben Kindel has mastered the art of pace, whether that's a deceptive little head fake to go one way, whether that's a curl back, whether it's just buying his teammates some time. It's impressive to see him when he has the puck on his stick and his off-puck play in the offensive zone. McKean's the highest on him on our rankings at 18th overall. Elite Prospects has him at 20. Scott Wheeler at 21. Locked On NHL Prospects at 22. Bob McKenzie's midterms, he was at 25. Craig Button at 27. And just Corey Pronman isn't sold. Not a first-round pick in his eyes at 36. overall at the combine. He came in at 5'10", 180 pounds. He's an April birthday, so turned 18 during the playoffs. And I'm just going to go out and say it, Pilsy. This guy reminds me of the way Claude Giroux plays hockey.
All right. I like it. And I mean, there's a lot of reasons to like Ben Kindel. He had 60 points as a WHL rookie, so he stepped onto the scene and was killing it. He finished 7th in points this season in the WHL as a whole. He was 2nd on the Hitman in points. He led the Hitman in power play assists with 26. He had 33 power play points overall. And Ross, you mentioned he reminds you of Claude Giroux. What's Claude Giroux good at? Snapping back the puck in the faceoff dot. He was 54.4% on about 1,000 faceoffs. So sometimes he's slotted as a winger, but he played center with the Hitman, and he can play wing as well. I love watching this guy's highlights, Ross. And like I mentioned, if you're a fan of Carter Yakimchuk, which most Sens fans are, you saw a lot of Kindel and Yakimchuk with great chemistry. He has that move where he loads up for a one-timer and then slides it over to Yak, who you would think Yak would be at the top of the umbrella. Yak shifts over to get on the flank, and Kindel goes there for the one-timer and fakes it and slides it over to Yakimchuk, and he blasts it home. I must have saw 7-8 times where they were able to do that on the power play. His dad was a pro soccer player, so not a pro hockey in the genes, but a pro athlete. So that's always good to have as well. I'm so sold on Ben Kindel, Ross. Like his ability to shoot, he's got confidence to beat goalies cleanly from range. He's got the deceptiveness to make it look like he's going to take that shot, then just slide it over to a teammate. I know he's not the biggest guy or the fastest guy, but he just has so many other skills that I'm willing to overlook that.
Easy to consider making a bet on him in the middle of the first round because of not only the offensive punch that we've already highlighted, but he's a 3-zone guy. Like, he's not going to hurt you defensively. He's not going to be someone who can't be relied upon in certain situations. He has all sorts of tools that I believe will translate to the National Hockey League. And I think he's going to be a consistent middle six player that not only can play there because of his own skill, but that the way he plays will make his teammates better. And he can help elevate those guys to be even better players. So it's, to me, a no-brainer that if he's on the board for the Ottawa Senators, he should be highly considered as the choice at 21st overall.
He is my favorite player to be drafted at 21st overall, realistically, for the Ottawa Senators, even more than Blake Fiddler. I just see the upside that Ben Kindel has is just so impressive. I think he's going to develop really well. I think he adds a little bit more offensive potential than some of the prospects the Ottawa Senators have in their pool right now. The versatility of playing center or the wing, I think, will come in handy, just like Claude Giroux. I don't know if he's available and the Ottawa Senators don't draft him, I would need to hear a lot of good reasons why the player they picked instead of him was their choice. I think I'm making it pretty obvious here, Ross. Ben Kindel is a 5-star guy for me. Man, I want the Ottawa Senators to draft this guy so badly. I really think he's going to be available at 21, Ross. We don't have a lot of other scouts, or our rankings don't really have him much higher than 21. And I think when you start going through the list, and we've done our mock draft, there's not teams that are going to reach on him before the Sens, in my opinion. So come on, let's do it. Ben Kindel, 21st overall for your Ottawa Senators. Let's go.
He just makes so much sense. And is he typically the type of prospect Ottawa would take early? No, but I think that makes it even more special that you could have that. We do know, though, the Sens scouts love connections, and the fact that he plays with Yak, I think, could be beneficial.
And plays well.
And the Sens could have did have a lot of views of Ben Kindel this past season. Some of the notes in the Elite Prospects profile on their draft guide is like crafty, skill, composure, clinical, manipulation. It's all these high hockey IQ skill sets for him. And I think that you add that in with the passing ability that he has. He's got a pretty decent shot too as well. Like, I love Ben Kindel. and they call his elevator pitch relentless pace, vision, mid-range scoring, and defensive details define this hard-working forwards game. Their shades of is Clayton Keller. And if he ends up like Clayton Keller, the Ottawa Senators would be getting a complete steal at 21st overall. But with an average ranking of 24.23, Ben Kindel comes in on our Locked On Senators NHL Draft Rankings at 22nd overall. On the other side, who is it at 21st overall on our rankings? You're listening to Locked On Senators, your team every day. All right, Billsy, right back to the Locked On Senators Draft Rankings we go, because this is getting fun. We've already covered almost 30 prospects, and we are realizing that there's a bit of a drop-off after maybe 27, 26, but this range here, super exciting for a whole number of different reasons. Coming in at number 21 on the Locked On Senators Draft Rankings is left shot defenseman Cameron Reid, who just blew up offensively this season with the Kitchener Rangers.
Yeah, I'm a big Cameron Reid fan, Ross. There's a lot to like about him. And obviously the Kitchener Sens, we had a few players there, Lucas Ellenis and Andonovsky. And Reid was a big part of their offense, named assistant captain this year in 67 games, 14 goals, 40 assists, 54 points, a plus 39 as a second-year defenseman in the OHL is pretty impressive. And then in the playoffs, kind of dropped off a little bit with only 5 points in 14 games and finished a -5. But anytime you're tasked with playing the London Knights, who swept the Kitchener Rangers, that's probably going to affect your output in the playoffs.
Yes, at the NHL Scouting Combine, he came in at 6 feet tall, 183 pounds. He turned 18 in April. And the rankings, we got 4 different scouts of our 7 that have him exactly at 19th overall. Craig Button, Scott Wheeler, Corey Pronman, and Elite Prospects. McKean's has him at 20. And then Locked On NHL Prospects at 23. Bob McKenzie's at 37. Again, that's Bob's midterms. And this guy lit it up throughout the season and really was a riser as the year went on. So what is an NHL team getting if they draft Cameron Reid with a first-round pick?
Yeah, he will definitely go in the first round. You're getting a really well-rounded defenseman. Like, I don't have many knocks on this guy, Ross. Like, watching his highlights, he's got some great hands. He can pull off moves to get around guys and even beat goalies on breakaways. He's comfortable with the puck. He'll be patient with it to hold it, move around, dipsy-doodle a little, wait for the play to develop, and then make his move. He won't rush anything. He's got smooth passes, and he's an impressive skater with good edges. EP even complimented his defensive game, strong box out and good poke checks to turn pucks over. And go check out Scott Wheeler's feature on The Athletic. Coaches, teammates, GMs, everybody that kind of works with him all have a similar pattern that shows is that he is a very mature kid. He's focused. He works hard at school. He's the type of guy that, I know it doesn't seem like much, but he cleans up after team meals. He's making sure that he's a respectable guy to everyone that works with the team. And Ross, a little connection for us, he trains in the off season with friend of the show, Jason Demers, or at least has in the past. They've got a connection, and Wheeler mentions that in his features. So a lot to like about Cameron Reid.
I think what I'm most intrigued with Cameron Reid is, despite these offensive numbers, everyone seems to say that it's the defending and the way he defends that makes him such a good prospect. Like, if the offense doesn't pop at the next level, I still think he can play. I don't think he's going to be the kind of guy where it's either he's putting up 40, 50, 60 points, or he's not going to be able to help an NHL team. I just think that this offensive flair that we've seen this season is only going to help, one, his confidence, but two, his thought process that, hey, maybe I can jump into the play a little bit more. Maybe I should, because when I do, good things happen. So at Elite Prospects, like, their player shades of NHL right now, one of them is Devon Toews. And I mean, he's become one of the elite shutdown defensemen in the league. And they kind of defend in the same way, where they're not going to always overpower you or even often. But what they will do is their gap control is elite. They're able to skate better than most forwards on the other team. So they're able to angle and use their positioning. And then you go back to the high hockey IQ that Cameron Reid has. He's just going to be a treat to add to any system in the National Hockey League. There's a reason why he's a high riser. The more you watch this guy, the more you appreciate what he brings on a nightly basis.
Yeah, definitely. Go watch his highlight tape. It's great. And I think Taves is a good comparison, Ross, because I feel like Cameron Reid's going to be the type of guy, if you put him beside an elite player, Taves usually plays with Makar. I'm not saying he needs to play with a Makar or will get that chance. But if you put him beside an elite player, Reid is just going to quietly do everything perfectly and allow that elite, maybe offensive defenseman to do their thing without having to worry about the defensive side of the game. So I think any team that selects Reid is going to be very happy with them. I gave him a 4 out of 5 stars. Again, I like the player, but not the type of guy I think the Ottawa Senators should be going for. But if they did decide to select him, because just like we talked about with Ben Kindel and the Hitman, they would have got a lot of viewings on the Kitchener Rangers with 2 of their prospects there. So maybe they see a lot that they like from him. And as much as it pains me as a Guelph Storm fan to give praise to the Kitchener Rangers, they are one of the premier spots to play in the OHL, and they do a really good job there.
And Cam Reid already announcing that he will be back in Kitchener next year. Plenty of colleges were interested in him, but he wants to see things through in Kitchener. So I'm a big fan of his as well. I know the left shot defenseman, not necessarily a position of need for Ottawa, but Dave Poulin did just say they will select the best player available. My only thing, I don't think Cameron Reid's going to be there at 21.
Yeah, I don't think so either, Ross. And the Ottawa Senators' typical best player available is different
6'5"
than our or any other person that scouts hockey players' best player available.
Coming in with an average ranking of 22.23, Cameron Reid is 21 on our Locked On Senators NHL Draft Rankings. You can find all of our profiles individually available for you on YouTube. All right, Pills, any final thoughts on today's show?
Final thoughts for me is, like Ross mentioned, we finally completed our mock draft. This is going to be a doozy. We haven't done the tip and tail of it where Ross and I introduce it and close it, but we're going to have some fun Easter eggs for people to look through and to prove that you watched the mock draft in its entirety, which everybody that does that, we can't thank you enough. We put a lot of work into this. And like we mentioned, that is bonus content. Locked On Network is not like, hey, everybody's got to be doing a 7-hour video to cover this draft. So we do this because we love it. And we really appreciate everybody that also enjoys the mock draft, because it's such a blast to do. And the people that we have join us, taking the time to do it, we respect all of their opinions, insight, and everything so much. So this is really our baby, this mock draft. Like, we work so hard at this. It's something that we've decided to do on an annual basis now. So I'm excited to unveil it to everybody.
And we will be doing that this upcoming Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern, and it will roll throughout the day. All right, that's it for us today. Let us know in the comments as well how you feel about the Ottawa Senators alternate jersey and thoughts on Ben Kindel potentially being the pick for the Senators at 21st overall. A little bit of a shorter show today, and that would be because we've recorded 2 hours of our mock draft today as well, and we will get into more conversations surrounding the Senators' free agents and maybe some more players that become available as trade talk clearly has picked up across the NHL. There might be a Chris Kreider trade sooner rather than later to Anaheim. So will that cause a domino effect as this offseason continues? I say offseason like the Stanley Cup final isn't going on, but when you have 10-day breaks between each game, it's the way it goes. For today, we say goodbye. Thanks so much for watching, listening, and engaging with the show. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been another edition of the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.